Hi, I'm Penny and welcome to part 2 of this crochet unicorn tutorial. If you haven't already watched part 1, then make sure to go do that, but otherwise let's get straight into it. So now that you have completed the body, we're going to put that aside for the moment to move on to the head. For the head, we are going to start off by doing 6 single crochets into our magic ring. Then for round 2, we'll do 6 increases, and this will take us up to 12 stitches. Then for round 3, we'll do 2 single crochets and an increase times by 4, which will take us up to 16 stitches. For the next round, we'll just single crochet all the way around. For round 5, we'll do 7 single crochets, then 2 increases, and then 7 single crochets. And this will take us up to 18 stitches. Then for the following round, we are going to do 7 single crochets, increase, 2 single crochets, increase, and 7 single crochets, which will take us up to 20 stitches. So here is when we are going to crochet the head onto the body. So if we have a look at the head, you can see that the side opposite to where our stitch marker is, so at the top, is where we have the most increases. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our body and make sure you know which side's the front, it's this one. And you're going to have a look and find the front 4 stitches in the body. In the neck. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are my front 4 stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hook, while still attached to the head, into the first of the 4 stitches. So we're at the front of the body here, this is the back of the body, and the first of the front 4 stitches, we're going to put our hook in there from the inside. Then we are going to bring the head around the front, and at the same time, we are going to put our hook into the next stitch of the head. So the stitch after where we have the stitch marker currently in the head. And we're just going to put our hook in there. So we have our hook in one stitch of the neck and the next stitch of the head. And we are just going to single crochet through those 2. Now we will put our hook into the next stitch along of the neck. Once again, this is the front side of the body. Next stitch along here. So just like this. And the next stitch of the head at the same time. And we are going to single crochet. Then again, the next stitch of the neck and the next stitch of the head at the same time, single crochet, and finally the fourth stitch here in the neck and the next stitch in the head, and single crochet. Now you're just going to have a quick look here as I'm going to show you what to do next. So what we're going to be doing is, now that our hook is over here, we are going to single crochet up around the head and down around the neck until you get back to this point. So we're going to be single crocheting around here and around the neck. So I'm going to single crochet with you. So at this point, we're just like this. We're going to single crochet up around the head first. So I've just gotten back around to my stitch marker here on the head, and that's how you know to go into the neck next, because the first stitch that we attached to the neck was the one after our stitch marker. So now we are going to find the first stitch in the neck that is not attached to the head already, just like we did with the legs and the body. So these four are attached to each other. So we need to go into the next stitch of the neck after we've finished single crocheting around the head that is not attached to the head already. So it's this one here, and we'll just single crochet into that, and then we will single crochet around the neck. And when you have this little bump down here from when you finish the neck on the last round, just single crochet into that last stitch and then single crochet down into the next stitch. So just ignore where you finished off last time. And now I have gone completely around the neck, and I'm not going into this stitch here as it's attached to the head. And this is what it looks like currently, just like this. And I'm just going to put my stitch marker into the last stitch that I just went into here. Now for the next round, we are going to be going around this whole circle here. We ignore these 4 stitches here, we go around, and we're going to do 3 single crochets, then single crochet decrease times by 4, and then 13 single crochets. So the single crochet decrease times by 4 should be around the top of the head. So the next stitch that we want to go into, we just need to make sure that it's not already attached to the neck. So don't go into any stitches that are already attached to the neck. So this is what it looks like after that round. You can see we're slowly closing up this hole in the back, and we'll just move the stitch marker up. And for the next round, we'll do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 6, which will take us down to 18 stitches. So at this point, we're just going to add a bit of stuffing to the neck and the head, and then we'll be putting our safety eyes in. But adding a little bit of stuffing beforehand will help us judge where we want our safety eyes to be. So now we'll put our safety eyes in. And our safety eyes are going to go between rounds 6 and 7 on either side. So round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And on the other side, we just follow it around the top. And it should be about here. So this is what it should look like on either side between rounds 6 and 7. I might just make this one a little bit lower. And we're just going to clip those in. So that's one clipped in. So once those are clipped in, we can now continue round. So for the second last round, we are going to do single crochet decrease times by 6, and this will take us down to 12 stitches. And definitely add some stuffing after the end of each of the following rounds. So I'll just add some more stuffing to the head here. Then we'll continue on to the last round, which is 6 decreases. So at this point, we just want to leave quite a long tail, because what we're going to be doing is sewing up this little hole here that happened when we were attaching the head and the neck, and any holes between the legs. So you'll want to leave a bit of a tail and cut it off, and then you can pull through to finish off. I'm going to add some final stuffing, and then we will sew the head shut. So we're going to grab our yarn needle and we're going to sew the back of the head shut. So we're going to go around in and out of the front loops only. So go into the first front loop, out of the next front loop, into the next front loop, out of the next front loop. And now we're going to bring our yarn needle through to these points to sew up these holes here. So go ahead and I'm just going to sew up these holes. And then once you've sewed up those holes, you can just bring your yarn needle to the bottom slowly, and we'll sew up the holes that are down the bottom. So now we will just sew up any holes that have formed on the bottom. And once you're done with sewing up the bottom, you can just cut off the remaining tail after you've weaved it in and poke it inside. So this is what the unicorn looks like currently. Obviously the neck looks a little bit weird, but don't worry, we'll cover that up with the mane. And right now we are just going to move on to the horn. So we'll put this aside and we'll grab our yellow yarn, and we're going to start by doing 4 single crochets into our magic ring with our yellow yarn. Then we are going to do single crochet increase times by 2, so then we'll have 6 stitches in total. Then from rounds 3 to 5, we will single crochet all the way round. So we're going to be single crocheting for 3 rounds. So once you finish doing that, we need to leave a tail for sewing. So we'll cut it off about here, and then we'll pull through to finish off. Now we are going to sew the horn on. So the horn will be sewn on just behind the eyes at the top in the center of the head. So it should be leaning forward just a little bit, and we'll grab our yarn needle. I've just pinned it on with a different pin for now, which will make it easier to sew the horn on. So I will just start by sewing into the body, then we will sew into the horn and go across a stitch, then back into the body, into the horn, and you just keep sewing around the horn. Make sure you don't miss any stitches until it is secure. And once you have sewn that on and you are happy with how it looks, you can just bring your yarn needle down to a random spot in the head and then just cut off the remaining yarn. Now we are going to crochet on the ears. In the written pattern, the ears are sewn on, but I figured I'd make it easier for you guys by making the ears no sew. So grab your white yarn and grab your hook, and you're going to do a slip knot with a long tail. So just like this. Then we're going to put our hook into the round behind where the horn is. So around here. So you'll just put your hook in there, and then you are going to single crochet into that stitch there. Then after that we will chain 2, so 1 and 2. And then we will single crochet into the first chain that we made here. So single crochet. And we will single crochet back into the original stitch as well. So that is what it should look like. Then we're just going to leave a bit of a tail and pull through. So this is what your ear looks like. And then we will bring the 2 yarn tails back to the same point at the back of the neck. So I'll just grab my yarn needle and then bring this tail back here. And then I will also bring the other yarn tail back to the same point. Now we will just tie these 2 tails together, cut the remainders off, and tuck them inside. So now we need to do the exact same with the other side. So we will do a slip knot with a long tail once again. Then we will find the position that we want the ear to be. So I want mine here, and we'll single crochet into that stitch. Then chain 2, single crochet into the first chain. And then single crochet back into the original stitch. Then we'll leave a bit of a tail, pull through to finish off, and bring the 2 tails back to the same point on the back of the neck. Then we'll tie these 2 tails together and push them inside. Now that we have the ears and the horn sewn on, we have 2 last things to do, and that is to do the mane and the tail. So we're going to grab our 3 colors of pink, and I'm going to start off with my brighter pink, and I'll begin by doing the mane. We're going to start off by making a slip knot with a long tail once again. And then we're going to go into about this point behind the ear. So we'll put our hook into here, and we're going to slip stitch there. So slip stitch. Now we are going to chain 18 times. So go ahead and chain 18 times. And now we are going to increase back into every single one of the chains, which is what is going to make the unicorn's hair curly. So go ahead and increase into every single chain. Once you've increased into every single chain, you are then going to slip stitch back into the original stitch. And now we are going to leave a little bit of a tail, pull through, and then just like with the ears, we are going to bring the two tails through to the same spot. Then we'll just tie these two tails together. Cut them off and push them inside. And this is what your first part of the mane looks like. So it's already looking a lot more like a unicorn. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one of this color over the opposite side. Then I will do one with light pink here and one with purple here. So I'll have 4 in total. So go ahead and do 3 more for the mane. You can choose any colors that you like, obviously, or you can do them all the same color if you like. I just want to do some different colors. So this is what the mane looks like when it's completed. And this is what it looks like from the side. You can kind of mess like how much you want the mane to curl up by twisting them. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how mine look, especially from the back. That's really nice. And now we're gonna move on to the tail. So we'll just get these out of the way for a bit. And we'll move on to the tail. So we're gonna be doing a similar thing for the tail, but they're just not going to be quite as long, and we're only going to do 2 or 3. So we'll make a slip knot once again, and we're gonna find like the center point at the back, and we'll go into it. I'm gonna go into like about here. And once again, we're going to do a slip stitch, but this time we're going to chain 10. So go ahead and chain 10. And then we will do an increase into each and every chain. So 9 increases in total. Then we'll slip stitch back into the original stitch and we'll cut it off about here. Then we'll bring the two tails to the same point and tie them together and cut them off. Now we're going to grab our light pink yarn and do the exact same thing again, but just next to the pink one. So slip knot, then slip stitch next to this one. Then chain 10, increase back down and slip stitch back in. And this is what the completed tail looks like. And now you have completed your unicorn. I hope that you enjoyed crocheting your unicorn plushie. If you would like the written pattern and to support me, then the pattern will be available for sale on my website. If you would like to support my channel, then make sure to subscribe for more free tutorials and other crochet vlogs. And I have to admit, this is probably one of my longest tutorials that I've ever made. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!